Alright, so since it's a rainy day anyway, thought I'd take the time to show some of the inside of the welder. I'm going to go ahead and take it all the way apart to include the front cover here, because I have to do that, I think, to really get this bottom plate off. And this bottom plate has rust. I'm pretty sure it's only got rust because it had the mice or rats or whatever living in it, and I think, you know, just them peeing all over the place has caused some rust that I want to address. So yeah, I want to go ahead and take the whole thing apart. Another reason I'll talk about later. Anyway, but here's some stuff that I just thought was kind of cool. This is your selector switch for your, let me get the light on it, for your so that's AC, and then DC positive. I'm wondering if I can grease this thing, because it is not easy to move right now. And that's your DC negative. And as I said in another video, it is very, very mechanical. As you'll see over here, this is what's happening as you move that lever. This contactor right here is moving from that bar, which traces out that way, or the middle one, which traces out that way, or the bottom one, which traces out that way. Goes over here into what I'm going to assume, well, okay, for one thing, that's your fan, but also I think that's got to be a rectifier for the DC. Yeah, that's where I know that's what it is, because I've seen a repair video where someone replaced the diodes back here. That is something you have to watch out for with these going bad, is the diodes, which, as I'm looking at it right now, I'm having a hard time figuring out where they are in that. But hope I don't have to go down that road, because I don't think those are cheap. One thing I find interesting, besides just the basic mechanical nature of the switch itself, you know, really heavy duty, very positive, you know, metal to metal contact, is the use of these solid ribbons of copper, you know, as opposed to wires, to carry the current to the switch and from the switch. It's pretty robust, and you see the same thing going on with some of the other circuits. Going down to the transformer taps down there. I'll show you the switch on the other side if I remember, but it's similarly, you know, impressive to me. And one thing I want to show before I forget is I mentioned that I wasn't certain, I didn't remember exactly what amperage I had it set on. The reason is I cannot rely on this indicator here, because this is just floating free. It's not doing anything right now, so don't even bother looking at that. What you have to do, you can see, let me get the tripod lowered here. Hang on. Like my sound effects? Alright. So down in here, can you see it from this angle? It's kind of tough. I might have to go handheld here to show this. Yeah, hang on a second. Alright, so you see that gear and sprocket mechanism that is actuated by this lever, which is your amperage adjustment, by this wheel I should say, and it does a couple of things. One, it moves, and I'm sure I'll get a better view of this when I take this front cover off, the actual contacts that are tapping the transformer, as it sweeps across it. And the other is there's a bar back there that swings, that's supposed to be connected to that guy, but right at the moment is not, and it actually appears to be bent. So I think actually that might be it right there. Is this it? So I got to figure that all out. Alright, so I don't really have a way of telling. That's why I thought that I was on the lowest setting. Yeah, I think I wasn't getting the true story looking from the other side. I thought that I had basically cranked this thing all the way until the lever arm down here was over here, which would have indicated, the lowest setting. But I might have been looking at the wrong bar. So I do need to get this front off of it to really understand what's going on and make sure I am getting a correct reading. So can't say for certain whether I was towards the high end, the low end, in the middle when I tested it earlier. Oh, as long as we're at it, the fan's back there. And it was serviced. Fan motor was replaced in 1990 by Mr. Ed Mayers. So it's a very young fan motor. Oh, okay. Yeah, now I see. Alright, I'm going to see if I can get the light and the camera all set up so that I can turn this and you can see what happens down in here. Yeah, I think I had it on the high setting. Alright, I'm turning the... Yeah, that thing was way up high. No wonder it blew through. This is going in the low direction now. And that bar down there. Let's see if I can you see it? Can you see it? What's happening? Basically, the light here, this travels, that's the end of its travel that way, the end of its travel that way is over there, and so now I'm like right in the middle. I had it all the way over there, which then carries the little pendulum bar that's linked to it all the way over here, and that would be have that over there. So now as I bring that whole thing back this way, this would slide over here. So yeah, I probably had that thing nearly maxed out. It makes me feel a little bit better. I think maybe there's hopes I'll learn how to control that thing. Alright, so here is the just the on-off switch, and it's it's pretty chunky. Yeah, that's no joke. Another look at the rectifier from the other side. Still trying to figure out exactly what constitutes a diode in that. But, oh yeah, you can see, you know, dust and all that I still need to get out of there. So, yeah, it's a good thing to go ahead and take this apart, get it really thoroughly cleaned up. And that's that indication of some of that rust I was talking about I want to address. And that's all because, see, this shroud right here, that's what directs the output from the fan back here across the transformer. And it was inside this shroud that the rodents had taken up residence. So that's why it's rusting down there, is my belief. So I believe if I get these front and back covers off and then unbolt the transformer from the bottom, then I think I can use the lifting eye here to pull that off the bottom, and then I'll be able to clean up the bottom plate really well before, and that'll give me a good foundation to work on to do the rest of the, you know, cleaning and just cosmetics. But very happy that the main functionality is there, so that's the big deal. Alright, so before I installed the beast welder onto the base, the mobile base I made, I just wanted to show the base because actually that is my first ever welding fabrication project. You know, it's not something to brag too much about because if you look at some of the welds, well, they're, you know, actually they don't look too bad now, but there was a lot of grinding involved. There's that saying that a good welder makes a good grinder. I really put it to the test. But the tabs sticking out here, let me see if I'm going to get you closer, hang on. Alright, so these tabs, you know, I'd like to say were an original design feature, but that's actually me trying to recover from a screw up. I measured the bolts on the base, the bolt pattern on the attachment points on the base of the welder, and I measured the width, and I measured the front to back, and eyeballing it, I thought it was a rectangle. Well, it's not. It's a it's like more of like a trapezoid, I guess is the correct term. I don't remember my geometry so well, but yeah, it's actually narrower between here and here than it is between here and here. So I was all ready to put this together, and I had to put a few more hours into cutting and messing around, but I think it'll be alright now. And I added, since I lost some rigidity over here from cutting, I added an extra reinforcement on the side, so I think it's just as strong as it was originally. This metal for the main frame and the corner bracing was salvaged from a treadmill that I took the motor out of, and these are bed frame rails, so should be plenty strong. And I'm not going to show the process of me trying to fit this thing on here because I know when I dry fitted previously, it's a big pain in the butt, and there's going to be a lot of fudging. So next time you see it, it'll be on there. Oh, there she sits. It was a success. Moves around pretty easily now. Ready to move on to. I've done a lot of cleaning so far, but it still could do some more. Main concern right now is to get this linkage between the dial, the amperage, and the indicator up front working right. Everything else, I think, will sort of fall into place after that. I am going to do, I'm going to paint the panels. I didn't take the bottom pan off. I really would have liked to, but it looked like I was going to have to do more disassembly than I really wanted to invest in this project right now. So I just cleaned it as best I could. I actually brushed and primed the bottom, and I will paint what's visible. Yeah, it's not going to be like a full restoration. I found out how much time those take, and I don't know how many of those I have left in me at this point. I want functional and, you know, neat. So, but I'm learning to appreciate patina. So that's what we'll call what's not fixed on this, will be patina.